What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 4th, 2022. I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you to breathe, Matt. I'm not going to tell you to breathe. If ever there's a time to be a little uneasy, old or new Philly, it's right now. There is a slight, very slight glimmer of hope, though. It has been done before. The team that won Game 5 after it being tied 2 games apiece has won 31 of the past 47 times. So that means 16 times the team that was down, like the Phillies are, has won. So it does happen, not common. It has happened 3 times in my lifetime. First in 1979 with the Pirates, who won 3 in a row. They were down 3 games to 1 to the Orioles. Came back, won the last one in Baltimore, 2 more in Pittsburgh. Most recently, the 2019 Nationals did it against these very same Houston Astros. So there's a little bit of history with the team the Phillies are playing. And the 2016 Cubs won Game 6 and 7 on the road in Cleveland. And a member of that team bats leadoff for the Phillies, Kyle Schwarber. So again, grasping to whatever we can right here, but that was just a hell of a game between 2 very good teams. I have to give kudos to the Astros for the defense they played. I mean, there was a couple hard hit balls that could have swung the game other way. I can think of 3 plays to play to short. The one down the line to first base that Schwarber hit, and then Real Muto's hit to center field. Those 3 plays in particular could have led to big innings for the Phillies, but those were just very good. The Astros are a good team. I mean, obviously, but you can't go and leave 12 men on base. You can't go 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. It's just not going to work out in your favor. And it's very reminiscent to the way the Phillies struggled in the '08 World Series. It's just the Rays, I guess, just were not as good. Or I shouldn't say I guess. The Rays were just not as good a team as this Astros team. So I think that's the difference here. But we'll be watching tomorrow night. No need to breathe. I get it. Panic a little bit. But understand that while it's not the most likely scenario, it is possible and has happened. So there is that going for us. And I'll go back to and I'll talk more about probably this tomorrow, but the 2010 Flyers, who were down 3-0, came back, forced a Game 7, got down 3-0 in that game, went on to the Stanley Cup. So there is some hope out there. We're going to spread some of those good vibes and hope that we keep it going. With that being said, great game by the Eagles. I know it was not their best performance on either side of the ball. However, I felt as though this is what a good team does. They took care of business. I don't think anybody, I mean, at halftime it was tied, but for the most part, I don't think, and again, I wasn't watching 100% full with my attention, but I don't think at any point it was, oh no, the Eagles are going to lose this game. The Eagles are going to lose this game. It was a potential trap game. And they came in, did what they had to do. Jalen Hurts played well again. They got the win, move on. So they're now 8-0. Wish I could say the same thing for our bet. I knew in my head, I overthought this a little bit, but my first gut instinct before I did any research was Texans with the points because of that trap. And then I allowed myself to get talked into betting the Eagles. So hopefully you're fading me, because if you're fading me, you're 6-3 on the year, and you've probably made some pretty decent money. So good luck with that. The big news from Sixers camp: James Harden's out for a month. Not good for a Sixers team that was already struggling. Hopefully this allows Maxey to sort of grow into that superstar that I think we all feel he's going to be. I don't know, Doc. I don't know what to think, but this is now, Doc, show us you're a good coach. Everybody says you're a good coach. Show us you're a good coach now. And also I need you, Joe, to kind of step up and do something as well. But the other news I want to talk about before we get into this day is Daniel Snyder apparently is exploring selling the Washington Commanders franchise. And I, for one, as an Eagles fan, am not a huge fan and am not happy about this because I like having the Washington team down there sucking with him as the owner. So that means they might actually get good again. So just something to think about. So please, if you're thinking about it, don't go buy the Commanders franchise. Let Daniel Snyder just completely ruin the whole thing on his own. And I think as an Eagles fan, I think for once could probably get Giants and Cowboys fans to agree with us that we want him to stay in as the owner. So anyway, all right, trying to get some of those positive vibes, like I said, heading into tomorrow. We did the legend of Nicky Foles yesterday. Another legend on this day, or November 4th, in 2004. The Phillies officially announced Charlie Manuel as their next manager. He replaced Larry Boa. And the funny thing about this was it was not a popular decision by anyone. Probably me. I don't even remember at this point because I love Charlie so much now. But Jim Leyland was, I think, the consensus fan favorite. I think the media wanted him. And for whatever reason, they went with Charlie Manuel. Obviously, rightfully so. But I just remember after his introductory press conference, everybody just ripping him. Like, just, oh, he can't speak. He's a country bumpkin. He's only there because of Jim Tomei at the time. Nobody was really happy about it, despite the fact that he did decently well when he was in Cleveland as manager. Got them to the playoffs. As a player, he was just one of those guys, a journeyman. He played over in Japan, things like that. But I just remember, and it was borderline uncomfortable even back then. Nowadays, it would never happen. But back then, it was borderline like bullying him because of the way he spoke. He had that southern drawl. He was, and like, I just don't know if it would fly today. But I remember I was just very uncomfortable. Like, say what you want about him as an actual baseball IQ guy, but I mean the way the guy talks, he's from West Virginia. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, and it's something that we hopefully have evolved somewhat on, but I don't know. But Ed Wade was the one who hired him, and he was ripped because at the time the team was just on the cusp of making the postseason. They were always there in that wild card hunt. They were always there in like late August, early September, running for the division, and everybody blamed usually it on Ed Wade. So Charlie Manuel's first season, he was fired in 2005. They missed the playoffs by a game. Ironically, I think it was to the Astros. But I will say thank you, Ed Wade, for your decision to bring in Charlie Manuel, because here's how it played out. He only went on to win 780 games, most all-time in Phillies franchise history for a manager. He only won 5 National League East titles. He only won 27 postseason games. He won 2 National League pennants and one very glorious and amazing World Series run that to this day means so much to me and probably a lot of other people in this city as well. So I would say Bill Conlin and all those other knuckleheads for the Philadelphia Daily News, you were wrong. And I don't want to get into Bill Conlin because he's got his own issues. But I would say that whole thing worked out pretty well for the Phillies. So on this day in 2004, the Phillies officially announced Charlie Manuel as their manager. He'd go on to win the World Series in 2008. Eagles 8-0. Phillies with their backs against the wall. They need to come out swinging. I gave you a couple examples of times it has worked out, so we'll see how this weekend works out. But it is Friday. Get some rest. It's been a long week between Eagles and Phillies games. Have a beer after work. Do your thing. Go have a Friday. And until next time, I will see you when I see you.